The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with X Lurk and Dion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lurk. As always, I'm with the homie Dion. And look who decides to come back. Homie X is back in town, son. How was your trip, bro?
Bro, London is nice. You know what I'm saying? But, it was
Arsenal
humbling. It was a humbling experience. You know what I'm saying? But it was lit.
Just tell the listeners what it was like to watch your team give away the EPL in person.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sitting at your own funeral. Like having first row seats to your own funeral. I literally paid thousands of dollars to fly internationally, paid close to $1,000 for a ticket 3 rows up. Like, you couldn't have better seats than what I had. I could smell the sweat on the players. And within 7 minutes, all my money was just lit up in flames. You know what I'm saying? So it was lit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the funniest part of it to me, was knowing, coming from the States, you had to go through and coming from where you at too. It's not even like you right next to an international airport.
I showed up to that game not having slept in 32 hours. You know what I'm saying? Because I took an overnight flight, got to Manchester in the morning, got to London, had to take a 2-hour train up to Manchester, check in, get dressed. Then we had to fucking haul it to the fucking stadium, wait for like 2 hours outside the stadium, get inside, sit down, and then within 7 minutes, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I left early, I'm like, yo, fam, I'm exhausted, I'm delirious, and I'm ready to get the fuck out of here.
Yo, you've been back for 62 seconds and you already making excuses for leaving out early? Like,
nah, bro, because the thing was, bro, I couldn't hide the fact that I was rooting for my team. Because when I first landed, I saw some Arsenal fans. I'm like, yo, keep it real. I want to wear my jersey to the game. They're like, yo, fam, don't do it. It was like, don't do it. It was like, how many people you gonna roll with? I'm like, well, I'm only sitting with 2 other people. They was like, if it's just 3 of y'all, definitely don't wear it. They're gonna jump the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? There was like, it might get worse. I was like, all right, so I'll just wear neutral colors. It just so happened to be royal blue, you know what I'm saying, which is too close to city colors. Shout out to you for that video. That was excellent. But yeah, nah, I was tight, bro. I was tight. I was gonna leave at 60 minutes, but then everybody else was like, yo, we paid $900 for these seats, and the guy ain't going nowhere. I was like, I respect it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, where did the Man City scarf come from?
All right. I'm glad you mentioned that.
He still has it. He brought it back home. Yeah. He brought it home.
It's to commemorate the game. I paid $8 for this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's fire. Well, €8, so that's like $27. Yo, the US dollar ain't worth shit, but that's a different combo. But
yo, shit, it just went down the toilet even more. But yo, let's talk some American sports.
That's racist, but I'll allow it. You know what I'm saying?
Can't be racist against Europeans, and I stand by that. So, yo, NBA playoffs, second round officially underway now. The Lakers beat the Grizzlies in 6. Warriors beat the Kings in 7. But before we get into that series, news came out the other day. Grizzlies told Dillon Brooks he's not welcome back in the city of Memphis. Under any circumstances, they do not want him a part of the organization anymore. There's been a lot of mixed feelings about that. A lot of people, former NBA players in particular, speaking out on his behalf. Dion, I know we were talking a little bit before X joined us, and you said you had some things to say in his defense as well. So let's start with you.
Yeah, so my thing with it is like, and it's always gonna be this way. I think he stinks. If the way they came out and said it was like, yo, we know we can upgrade off of you. We're letting you know now, explore other options. If all else fails, we can come back because it makes sense. We have your bird rights. But that's a worst case scenario on our end, and we want that to be a worst case scenario on your end. And we're telling you now, that way you can do your own due diligence. I'm on the Grizzlies side. The way they're doing it is making it seem like he's the problem. It's a cultural problem that starts with Taylor Jenkins. Go ahead.
But wait, are they though?
In my opinion, that's the way that's what I took away from it. Because the article cited issues like problematic issues that like off the court stuff.
Yeah, but the Grizzlies already spoke out about the whole scapegoat thing and claimed that they're not making him a scapegoat of anything.
Too late. I don't
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do disagree with how they went about it. Like to allow that to become public information that you don't want him back under any circumstances. I just can't remember the last time I've ever seen an organization.
But the reason they did it is because, so when he went after Bron, he set himself up for that, right? Like he went from being like, we don't like this guy to now we fucking hate this guy, right? Like if you remember back to last season, even you could tell. I know Max defended him for the GP2 hit, and I think one other person in our group chat did, but nonetheless, like that dirty ass play, there was legitimately people defending Dillon Brooks because of how much they hated the Warriors. Had they beaten the Lakers and he does the same thing, no one's defending Dillon Brooks because they pissed off Papa Bron. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So they tried to scapegoat him. I think they walked it back when they realized everyone was like, yo, fam, like, this is crazy. Because it's not even the wording. It's like, if you read the article, like whoever decided to leak the reasoning to Shams is like listing stuff that's cultural. Like he ain't the one that went to rehab. You know what I mean? He wasn't the one with guns on IG. He wasn't the one in Jaren who like, I mean, I'm not going to get into the Jaren stuff, but like,
wait,
Jaren's not the great.
Get into the Jaren stuff. What happened with Jaren that I'm?
Well, he's just immature. Like there's little things Jaren does that are extremely immature on the basketball court. Same with Desmond Bane. They all do immature things. Taylor Jenkins rallies around the immaturity. And then if you peep his like post game after they lost the Lakers, like, yo, the team was really immature. Like, no, fam, you created that. And that's my thing, is this is the Grizzlies organization, top to bottom. The leaking of this to Shams, that was immature. So like
I don't think it was them. Here's well, it's my opinion. This is how I think it went down. I think that word got to the agent like, yo, fam, we're not bringing you back, right? The agent went and leaked it to Shams like, yo, the Grizzlies are saying they're not bringing back my client under any circumstances, knowing that if that information just got out there like that, people were going to rush, even though Dillon Brooks is easily hateable, it would have looked really shitty, you know what I'm saying, for the team. My guess is Shams went to the team and said, hey, look, I'm about to run a story that y'all have communicated, y'all not bringing them back. Do you care to comment? And then somebody in Memphis probably tried to add context, and that's why they added this shit about culture to try and kind of like soften the blow, because there was no way that they weren't going to look like fucking idiots. Why? Because we all know that they have a front-running culture, right? Even from last year, when they was talking shit to Bron, when it was John and Desmond Bane talking shit to where Bron was actually like, yo, like, fuck out of here, y'all gonna stop talking shit. But we celebrated, well, not us. People celebrated that. People celebrated that. Yeah. But it looks one way when it looks like you're overachieving, and it looks a completely different way when you're getting fucking manhandled. It's the same behavior. It's the same culture. To your point, it's the same shit, but they're front runners. We sat here, we said the same shit last year. Fuck the Grizzlies. They haven't won shit. They're a bunch of front runners. Other teams said it. Other players said it. People in the media said it. So when this is the first time I'm ever going to credit Kendrick Perkins, but Kendrick Perkins was right with what he said. He said, fam, if you think this is a Dillon Brooks problem, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is a team issue. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that Dillon Brooks happens to be the least talented player there. And really, we've said it before. The reason we never bought into the Grizzlies is because the fact that they needed Dillon Brooks was always going to put a glass ceiling on them, right? Because he's not that talented, but because he has that irrational confidence, because he thinks he's better than he is, in certain moments, especially last year when Ja missed a lot of the season, he was one. He's like Marcus Smart. He would step up and take the shots that nobody else would take, but that was necessary. Now, what I disagree now is that Dillon Brooks kind of, in my opinion, swung the needle the other way when he's leaking to them like, yeah, they wanted me to be a 3-and-D player, but I feel like I'm so much more. If I'm a team, that statement right there makes me want to run the other way, because clearly you have no self-awareness. If you think that somebody else is going to want you to actually be more playmaker,
you go back to the reports where they said that they tried to negotiate a contract extension with him during the season.
But we don't know that number though.
It don't. To me personally, the number don't matter.
I think it does,
because I felt like they already overpaid him with the first extension they gave him.
Well, just because you're wrong doesn't
think that. Look, I understand why you say we don't know the number. I get it. because maybe they lowballed him, right? Or maybe they disrespected him.
Right? If it's under 20, I'm not signing
personally, given my opinion of his talent level, like I said to you earlier, Dion, if I'm the GM, I'm offering you the lowest number that I can offer you because that's where I value him at. He's not that good, but he does bring, like I said earlier, he brings things to the table that any team can benefit from. But at the end of the day, he's not that good. He does the little things that you want people to do. And then he has that aggressive defense, regardless of how you feel of him as a quality defender. He plays defensive aggressively. He plays the game aggressively. He'll make dirty plays. He's gonna play physical. That will
what he does is necessary on certain teams. But here's where he fucked himself. There's no teams out there with cap space. None of these young rebuilding teams are going to go sign him. So
I disagree with that.
The Grizzlies to play ball.
I think both of you are wrong. I think Lurk, you're wrong because just because your opinion of him is that, and you wouldn't sign him.
You saying we don't know the number, but at the end of the day, they tried to negotiate a contract with him. Well, we don't know what he asked for in return that forced them to end negotiations.
Well,
but
we do.
At the end of the day, they tried to negotiate a contract.
But we do know that. What
did he ask for that he said?
They're talking about the rumored deal for him is anywhere from 20 to 25 million per.
So I would have cut off negotiations too.
Okay, but so both parties would, is what I'm saying. Both parties would.
Look, I'm not saying that he was wrong for betting. Well, I mean, I kind of am saying that because that goes into the whole lack of self-awareness comment. But no player is wrong for wanting to bet on himself and believing in themselves. But at the end of the day, they tried to negotiate with you. It didn't work out. And then you shot yourself in the foot in the playoffs.
Did he though? That's my thing is did he? Because we'll find out the answer to that question in 2 months. And in my opinion, the way this all looks, give me, if I have to choose between the Grizzlies and Dillon Brooks and who I can fix, give me the singular player. If I can get him out of there and put him around some vets, right? Hypothetically, I think he's much more fixable than this organization that even through this is showing the lack of maturity that they have.
They need a veteran.
Okay.
They need a vet. But
and supposedly Steven Adams was that guy.
No.
But as you can see, he's clearly not.
Yeah, he's not. And listen, my thing is yes, you could say Dillon Brooks is a front runner. You can say he's this, he's that. And they talk about the missing media. Who else missed media?
Ja.
That same exact game. Ja, Bane, Jaren. Is it Dillon's fault they missed media? Or did he follow the lead of the best three guys on the team?
Unless your best player buys in, you're fucked. Right? A vet is only as good if he can get the best player to buy into a particular mentality. And clearly, Josh showed us that he's not buying into shit. Right?
I never even understood why they even made such a big deal about Dillon in particular. At the end of the day, about missing media. Because at the end of the day, obviously, it's because he's been making headlines the past few weeks, right? But the post-game press conference is for the star players of the team. They don't fucking...
No, but you're not going to go trash talk LeBron and think that people are not going to want to
look, I understand that. But at the end of the day, Bane, the storyline should have really been about Bane, Triple J, and Ja not showing up to media, not Dillon Brooks. That's my whole shit.
I mean, they talked about Ja, but they didn't find Ja. So that's my thing. Is that
makes it even worse.
Dillon caught a fine for missing media as he should. Ja didn't catch a fine for missing media. If we're going to countless time again, and now we're on year 2 of me saying this, where we're just going to glance over the behavior of the Grizzlies team and allow them to walk around like they've done stuff, I'm not with that. Personally, I'm not saying I would want Dillon Brooks on the Warriors because where does he play? But hypothetically, if we had $20 million in cap and I knew I could put him next to Steph, Draymond, and Clay, I do think we could make that work. I don't think...
Real quick. Why do you think Draymond is appreciated by his teammates? You think Draymond's the only dickhead on the Warriors? No. But he doubles down and he's the mouthpiece for what Steph wants to say, for what Klay wants to say, for what everybody else on that team wants to say. So when it's time to be media, Draymond is going to double down and he's going to play the role of the heel because he helps alleviate the pressure off of the star players. Trust me, Steph Curry is not the golden boy we perceive him to be. Steph Curry's a fucking assassin, but he gets to keep that image because Draymond Green is out there on Front Street answering all the hard questions and saying this shit that Draymond gets criticized for. So if you're going to be Dylan Brooks, then go out there and be the fucking shield for your star players. But when y'all lose, yes, Ja's not going to show up. Desmond's not going to show up. But you're supposed to show up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where my issue lies. And I'm not excusing him for not showing up. But what I'm saying is, he shouldn't be the fucking main talking point of people not showing up. He shouldn't have been the one that got fined, especially if he's going to be the only one that fucking gets fined.
My thing, all I'm saying is it's cultural, right? Like, I look at what Giannis said, where he said, the failure thing, and regardless of where you lie on that, the origins of that comment are told to us when the Bucks decided not to do exit interviews, right? Like, some teams can't sit up there and handle it when you lose. Some teams can't handle that. The Grizzlies cannot handle that. That's not Dylan Brooks' problem. Singular, right. I bet you Dylan Brooks could. As a unit, they can't. And when you put multiple guys that can't do it together, it's never going to work that way. So all I'm saying is they can blame Dylan Brooks all they want. I promise you, nothing's going to change next season when you have those three guys and that dude at head coach. They've shown you their cards. Meanwhile, I don't know where Dylan Brooks is going to go. And it's probably not going to be a contender, but like one dude changing his behavior is a lot easier than a full team, a full organization, front office.
And I think it's two. And look, I think it's two separate conversations, right? I think that we all know that them having to rely on Dylan Brooks so much was what made them not a serious contender in my eyes. But Dylan Brooks on the right team, on a team that is ready to win, that has the right mentality, that has mature vets around him, he has a role to play, and he can help a team.
I think he can help a team and have a role to play on most teams. To be honest, I don't think he's that good, but I don't think he's like one of the worst players in the NBA. Even though interesting stat came out today that he has the worst valuable over replacement, which is kind of like a made up statistic or whatever, but like apparently since he's come into the league, he has the worst defensive metrics and is below replacement level.
But that's because he's playing defense out of like he is not a lockdown defender. Does that mean he's a bad defender? No. Could Dylan Brooks lock down Austin Reeves in that series? Yes. Is he going to lock down Harrison or LeBron James? No. So it's like when you have a guy that's guarding the other team's best player when he really shouldn't be, it's going to be hard for him to look like a good defender.
He's going to get cooked.
Yeah,
right?
He's gonna get cooked.
Is he Kawhi? No. But if he's your second and third best perimeter defender, then hey, now you're cooking. But the problem is they don't have any. They don't have any fucking perimeter defenders, right? Why you think they drafted Zaire Smith? Why you think they throwing David Roddy out there and all these other motherfuckers that can't guard anybody? They're desperate for a fucking 3-and-D wing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, think about like when we, not to bring it back to the Warriors, but like because this is where I think he fits. The reason Draymond's had this like resurgence defensively isn't Draymond. It's that his job's easier now that we have Andrew Wiggins. Could Draymond guard De'Aaron Fox for 7 games? Absolutely not. But we threw him on Fox for a quarter here and there, and he can do that. I believe Dylan Brooks can guard LeBron James for a quarter here or there. Should he be guarding LeBron James for 48 minutes across 6 games? Absolutely not. Absolutely
but see,
not.
I mean, like even at 38 years old, to expect anybody to be able to guard LeBron for a full 48 and like lock him down is just foolish.
No. I mean, call it what you want. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's not foolish. I'm not, or any of those things. I'm just saying like he is playing out of role, out of position all around. I actually do believe, like just dating back to his Oregon days, I do think there's a little bit more he can bring 3-and-D because I think on the defensive side he lacks in comparison to his role, and I think offensively he is like actually better than his role. And it's just he was just in a bad spot, and all around in a bad spot.
I mean, we'll see.
Like, can he guard
We'll
Curry?
see,
No.
'cause he's definitely
Do you want
gonna
him
find
guarding
it.
Clay?
He could guard
I would
Clay.
want him guarding Clay.
Yeah, he could
Right?
guard Clay.
I would want him chasing Clay around fucking screens.
Can
but
he guard
can't
prime
Curry.
Clay? Can he guard Clay before all the leg injuries?
No, but we're talking about now.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm
obviously, we're not talking hypothetical. I mean, we are
like
talking
if they got the Kings instead of the Lakers, right? Which, or like, let's say them and the Kings moved on. He can't guard De'Aaron, but if he's the one guarding Monk and he's the one guarding like Harrison, you're cooking now, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a recipe for a championship.
But you keep referencing the Lakers and the Warriors, so let's move on to the teams that are actually still playing. Your team got their ass whooped in game 1, bro.
I kind of disagree with that, but I knew they were going to lose game 1, to be honest.
It didn't look good for y'all from beginning.
Honestly, that game didn't change my mind.
No, I still have the Warriors winning.
The only way the Lakers compete is if AD goes fucking nuclear. We've seen AD go nuclear before. Go nuclear another 3 times in the next 6
games. Yeah, and that's always been my shit. That's been my shit. Is like, I don't trust either Bron or AD to be able to consistently play great. Neither one have shown. Like, LeBron is clearly still hurt. Like, he came back way too soon from that foot injury, and he's able to play on it, but he's clearly not healthy. And what was it, last year? I think it was that he said like he don't think he's ever going to be 100% again. It's starting to show. And then AD, I have to admit, I think I admitted it to you already earlier in the season, but I have to admit you were right. Even when he's healthy, you're always scared that this is the play that takes him out. Or he's just inconsistent. Like, one night he plays like he believes he's the best player in the league, and then the next night he plays like a little bitch.
But it's not even night to night, right? Like, hey, here's why I'm not worried in the slightest. I knew we were going to lose that game, barring like Steph going for 50. You're not going to go for 52 games in a row. The difference between the two teams was, and you could see it, the Lakers, respectfully to the Sacramento Kings, did not watch a second of Sacramento Kings tape. There wasn't a bone in the Lakers organization that thought the Kings were going to win that game 7. And it was clear. They were ready for everything. They had 4 days off. The Warriors looked like a team that probably watched a Laker game once upon a time and were like, fuck it, we got to go out there type of thing. Did everything they did in the regular season against them. It didn't work because now it's the playoffs. They counterpunched, and now it's our turn to punch tonight. Regardless, I mean, 1-1 going back to cryptos, like, that's a win for the Lakers. It don't really matter what happens tonight. Unless the only thing that could make a huge difference is if the Lakers won. If the Warriors win, it's still advantage Lakers. But AD had 14 points in the first quarter. He had 9 in the second quarter. He had 5 in the third. He had 2 in the fourth quarter. They're going to wear him down. They're going to wear him. Like, if the Lakers lost game 1, I would say the series is over. We play every other day. There's no extended breaks in this series. It's every other day to the end. If it goes 7, that means we got 6 games in the next 12 days. I'm not saying this dude gets hurt. I'm just saying, like, he's not going to keep up this level of play. He had I'm going to give him a phenomenal half offensively. And then he had a phenomenal game defensively. But you saw what the Warriors are going to do. They're going to go small. Like, they're going to run him. He's going to be in every single pick and roll. They're going to push the pace up and down the court. And it's like, cool, you can go for 40 on jump shots, like, if you want to. But are you going to have the legs to do that for 7 games? I don't know about
Especially once the schedule goes. I don't even know I could be talking on my ass, but when it goes to every other night, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. It already you got 4 days rest. Yeah, it's cool when you got 4 days rest. Now do that every other night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you didn't show that in the regular season that you should be able to recover so quickly. And
even in the first round, like, they all showed, like, him and Bron both showed their age in the first round. And I was saying, and we were talking about it last week, like, between the age and the inconsistencies and the heavy reliance on role players, like, I just don't see how the Lakers pull this series out. They did their job. They stole home court advantage for now. But I don't believe that AD is going to be consistent. As much as I love AD, I just don't have faith in him anymore.
It was 27-5 free throw differential, which the way the Warriors play or played, they shouldn't shoot more than 5 free throws. And the way the Lakers play, they should shoot like a ton of free throws.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying I have no issues with the calls on majority of the players. Dennis Schroeder, the whistle. I mean, Dennis Schroeder shot double the amount of free throws as the Warriors. Like that doesn't sit right with me. I really don't care. Like I don't care if every call was a foul. Like that guy shouldn't be getting some calls against Steph. Point blank.
I understand what you're saying, given the history of the referees and the way they treat superstars. But like they were told the commentator, I think it was Stan Van Gundy was talking about it during the game.
Yeah.
The Lakers were like at the top of the league in the least amount of fouls given up during the regular season per game. And the Warriors were at the bottom of the league. Like I think the Warriors were number 1, right, in fouls per game. If I'm not mistaken.
The Warriors,
like I mean, their style of play benefits the Lakers as far as free throws.
Well, this is what I was gonna get at, and because like I do think stylistically, on paper, it's like damn, they shouldn't have shot them. And again, I don't think the free throws are the difference. This is something the Warriors have dealt with the whole year, right? Like the Warriors get a bad whistle. We got a bad whistle against the Kings, in my opinion. We get a bad whistle during the season. We're going on game 91. You have to live with it, and you have to make the extra effort play. Like I think back to a play, the ball was clearly off of Jordan Poole, or no, clearly off the Lakers. Jordan Poole doesn't hustle for the ball, doesn't get the call, and he's pissed off. And it's like you can't. Game 91, you can't think you're going to get that call when we haven't gotten it all year. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to now make the extra effort play. But what I'm saying is like off paper, it's like, yeah, the Lakers attacked the paint from within the paint. The Lakers shot 5 more shots than the Warriors. Like they had 12 more paint touches than us. Nothing they did screams you should have 22 more free throws than a team. In my opinion,
I kept getting in the bonus real fast.
But some of the calls were interesting, and yeah, I'm not.
I agree. I'm not
mad. I will never, ever be mad at a Bron call or at an AD call. They have earned the right to have the benefit of the whistle. It's the Schroeder one. Schroeder should never shoot 10 free throws in a game. I said the same thing about Malik Monk.
Questionable calls that they gave to D'Lo too.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can live with that over Schroeder. You know what I mean? Like, I think back to game 1 against the Kings. Malik Monk shot 14 free throws. If De'Aaron Fox shot 14 free throws, I do not care. Malik Monk should never shoot 14 free throws in a basketball game. It just is what it is.
I think the real effect of all the free throws is that it made the game so choppy and it kept the Warriors from really getting into their rhythm that it allowed the Lakers to keep playing Vanderbilt, right? Because defensively, when Vanderbilt's out there playing help side, weak side defense or help defense, it changes their interior defense. If the Warriors are in rhythm and they're scoring at something close to their normal pace, the Lakers will not be able to survive offensively if they have Jared Vanderbilt out there, because it makes them a lot easier to defend, and they're just going to they won't be within 40 fucking feet of Vanderbilt. But because of the flow of the game, they allowed Vanderbilt to kind of stay on the court. He helped them out defensively. And I just think the Warriors are going to play Vanderbilt off the court. So I think that as you see his minute total, the less minute Vanderbilt plays, the more minutes that Vanderbilt plays, that's going to play towards, that's going to be in the Warriors' favor. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't think that ultimately the Lakers will be able to score enough to compete with the Warriors. And I just think the Warriors just shot poorly enough and give up enough free throws to where that game was an I won't say an aberration, but I don't think we'll see another game that closely resembles what we saw in game 1.
Well, speaking of Vanderbilt, there's a play in the 4th quarter. And again, I do not care. Like, I do not care about this. It's just like crazy to me. Vanderbilt commits a foul. AD goes and tells the ref, no, that's on me. Bron goes and says, no, that's on AD. That would have been Vando's 5th. They changed the call to AD. It's like, bro, like if you just call it on AD, I don't care. But at some point, it's like, what are we doing right now? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm not saying it's blatant because there's plenty of calls there's plenty of missed calls both ways. There's plenty of favorable calls for the Warriors too. But like little things like that, like I mean, if they annoy me, imagine what it does to a player on the team. And if you're constantly picking yourself back up from shit like that, like it's just really tough to win a basketball game, especially on 36 hours rest when the other team's been off since Friday. It just is what it is.
So we all in agreement that the Warriors are still winning the series?
I think it's close. I really
Well-
don't know. I'm not saying like the Warriors. I really don't know who wins. I do believe this. Whoever wins this series, I think wins the title.
Yeah, X wasn't here for when you first said that last week.
I'm trying to think what I don't know if I would take the Lakers over the Nuggets.
I think AD
the-
can play Jokic off the court. That's my only thing.
I don't
I don't know how the
so.
Lakers. I don't know how the Lakers stop. I don't know how the Lakers stop the Nuggets though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I keep saying that about the Nuggets, and I to be fair too, but like for whatever reason, I just feel like they're gonna stop themselves. At some point. I don't know.
see
It's like
how-
a gut
I feel like
feeling
they
thing,
put-
you know?
They put Gordon. I feel like they put Gordon on AD. They double him, try to get the ball out of his hands. They leave Jokic on like Vanderbilt or some shit, and then they just if they rotate and Jamal Murray can hit shots.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
see how
fuck.
anybody plays Jokic off the court, given how much he means to the Nuggets offensively. Like, I just
Oh
don't.
no, not
how you
literally,
play
but
him
Not
off the court
literally,
without. Yeah,
you
like
know.
you have to like get him into foul trouble, and I have to agree with X. I don't think they gonna play Jokic on AD.
Not literally. I'm saying like if Jokic is on the court, they're not necessarily going to be the better team in that situation, and they're not going to take Jokic off the court, obviously, because of how much he means offensively. So it's like advantage Lakers, no matter which way it goes in that situation.
But I do agree that whoever comes out of the West, I mean, it's gonna be a huge favorite over anybody that comes out. of
So
the fucking
X,
East.
given the fact that you instantly led with you don't got the Lakers beating the Nuggets, it's safe to say that you don't think the Suns have any chance in coming back.
No one.
I don't believe in the Suns, man. I think they're fucking baby shit soft. And if look, Devin Booker's shot making the first two games was fucking great, but
That'll continue, but he can't do it by himself. He don't got no help.
and even if KD balls, it's balls. It's 2-on-5, man. Like it's 2-on-5.
Nah, yeah, I was
I-
joking when I said he don't have help. He clearly got KD.
I mean, CP3's out till I think he gets reevaluated after game
Next week.
5.
And that's reevaluated. That's not to say he's coming back. They
Yeah.
may decide that he may be out for another week. I don't think they can.
And he
rely on
doesn't
CP.
help them. He doesn't help them where they need the most help, which is defensively.
I think
It's so
CP.
easy to guard. Man.
I think he's the most important player on that team. Like I think they get swept.
But it doesn't matter if he plays or he doesn't. They can't stop the Nuggets from scoring. No matter how much they score, they cannot stop the Nuggets from scoring either. And
Bro.
even with all three of these guys healthy, like we spoke about this last week, Dion, they don't got no fucking depth. And you can't rely on these guys to fucking play 45 minutes a game for a whole series. You already
Bro,
have
they
to
were
damn
fucked. They
near-
didn't have no backup point guard, right? And then Ayton, let's talk about it. This is really about DeAndre.
Yeah, I know you
being
hate
fucking
Ayton.
ass.
You hate
Bro, every time Jokic saw Ayton, he's like, "Yo, food." He's food. Like he's
Barbecue
just
chicken.
Ayton ain't got nothing for fucking Jokic, and Ayton ain't threatening Jokic on the other end, bro. Like it's really like, all right, is Devin Booker and KD taking turns into ISO balling? If they hit 65-70% of their fucking tough shots, then yeah, they'll stay in and they'll have a chance to win. But if either one of them has an off shooting night, the other one has to explode for fucking 50 for that game to even be remotely close. I just don't think that we're gonna see that, 4 times in the next however many 5 games. So I know. Give me the Nuggets, bro. I don't give a fuck. Give me the Nuggets.
I just don't think the Nuggets or the Suns are very good. I've said it a few times now. Initially, I was on the like they need depth, they need this, they need that. I watched them play. Like, I'm not saying KD shouldn't be on a super team because obviously with the Warriors it worked. KD can't be on a super team without a superstar that's as unselfish as Steph Curry. This is the second time it's failed. Third, if you want to count Oklahoma City, because like I low-key consider that OKC team to be a super team too. And like I'm not saying it's his fault, but he can't operate in that system where it's your turn, my turn. What made the Warriors good is Steph was like, cool, bro, here you go. I can do my own thing, run around the court a million times, pop a three from 50. Next thing you know, I still have my 30. You know what I mean? KD can't do that your turn,
Yeah,
and he needs a point guard.
It's because Steph was so amazing without the ball.
Yeah.
It's not even about if the next player is selfish or not. It's about, can you move around and get yourself an easy open look without having the ball in your hand? And there's no one in the world that can relocate the way Steph does.
And it's the fact that Curry, honestly, what it is that Devin Booker doesn't really shoot threes, right?
So I mean, even he does, but he's not shooting fucking 15 a game like Steph.
Not at the volume that he needs to.
Or
right. So if he's relocating, what's he relocating to? An 18-footer? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
which kind of cramps the space.
Take the ball off the dribble anyway.
Yeah, which kind of cramps the space for KD. Now, if Booker was lights out from fucking three, now it's different. It's that extra foot and a half that helps kind of create.
To that point, the team as a whole doesn't shoot that many threes. They take a lot of jump shots, but majority of them are mid-range or long twos. Like, they don't shoot a ton of threes in comparison to the rest of the league. And they probably take more mid-range shots than any other team.
No, they lead the league in mid-range shots.
Especially after the acquisition of KD, because KD lives in the mid-range too.
But it's because, like, and we spoke about this on here, yeah, KD can hit you with a step back three or a hezzy into a three. KD's not just going to sit there and launch a three from the corner. Book's not just going to sit there and launch a three from the corner. CP3, same thing. And if you watch the three of them, when they do not have the ball, they're just standing there. So what is actually happening on offense? And then you throw in the fact that Torrey Craig's the other one who just stands there too. And you can fill the Torrey Craig role with someone that probably shoots that corner three a little bit better, but you're never going to fill that role with anyone that doesn't just stand there. And maybe he shoots a better percentage, but he's just going to stand there. So, like, if this team just stands there, which that's a personality trait, that isn't coaching, that isn't roster construction, that isn't anything, that is these dudes' personality, they're never going to win. Like, what made the Warriors special was, yeah, maybe KD just fucking stood there, but the other four guys are constantly moving. And then KD has to buy into that. When's the last time you saw KD hit a back cut for a dunk? Golden State, probably, right? Like 2018, 2019, like whenever he was healthy last with the Warriors, like, when's the last time he's caught an oop? Still, probably Golden State, unless it was a fast break. Like,
some of the things, their big three, they need the ball in their hands to be effective. They just not good off ball players. That's all. And they don't take enough threes. If CP wants to launch 10 threes in a game, you let him. You're like, you know what? Tip your cap and you let him. He's CP3 ain't scary.
And he's not going to do that anyway. But yo, X, I believe it was you that said you're not going to believe in the Suns until you see them with a full offseason.
They need to trade Ayton for functional spare parts.
That's where I was going. Gonna ask you, what do they do next? So, first stop of the offseason, get rid of Ayton.
I don't even think that does anything.
I don't know. I disagree. They don't need, for what Ayton does. Ayton is a role player there, but he's a role player who refuses to buy into a role player mentality. So he's not as efficient, or he doesn't do the dirty work that actually needs to be done for them to win. They need somebody that can just rim protect and rim roll off of fucking CP3 pick and rolls. And what they need is, okay, if you're gonna have these, like, you need a Cam Johnson in the corner who can shoot 42% from three. You need a Mikal Bridges who can shoot 40% from three. And then what you need guard depth behind CP3. Somebody who can actually beat a defender off the dribble, get into the teeth of the defense, and then allow him to kind of distribute to an open KD for 18 feet, an open Devin Booker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they need. And I feel like you can get people to fit those roles at a smaller salary. You just need to find a team that believes that they can maximize a DeAndre Ayton. You know what I'm saying?
They could literally trade Ayton to the Suns for like Finney, or not the Suns, excuse me, the Nets for like Finney Smith and something else, right? Like the Suns probably are, or the Nets probably are that team that fits that. And they could get what you're talking about. I just don't think it does anything. I really don't think, like, yeah, it makes them better on paper and maybe even better, but like, Book and KD just don't work together. And there's nothing you can put around them that would like change my mind on that. Like those two just don't move without the ball. And if you're just gonna fucking stand there, like what makes the Nuggets dangerous is Jokic has the ball. Michael Porter Jr. will hit you for a back cut. AG will hit you for a back cut.
Murray
will come around three screens.
Watch how Murray maneuvers through those fucking after, you know what I'm saying? Once he ditches it to just watch the movement, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
look,
you know what I'm saying?
Look at the difference between the Lakers with Russ and without Russ is Russ just stood there. Austin Reeves will pass it, relocation three. I saw him do it to Steph, and I'm like, damn, that's what Steph does to people, right? And it's like, you watch the Celtics, and we're like, yo, their offense is crazy good at times, and then it goes stagnant. Why does it go stagnant? Because Brown and Tatum don't move for 90% of the game. When they choose to move, the offense is good, but they don't do it all the time.
And Book and KD aren't really necessarily elite passers.
No.
And that's another thing. So,
and neither, I mean, KD's a good defender, but he's getting old. Like with every year, it's like, how much longer is he going to be a good defender?
This is the perfect segue because y'all sound like y'all talking about the New York Knicks, but with superstar players, like the team that don't fucking move.
Yo, I hate your team. Your team is ass, and the only reason y'all wear y'all ass is because of Karis fucking LeVert and because Donovan Mitchell's a fucking fraud. Them fucking Cavs.
You was one of them guys that was talking shit that we didn't trade for him.
Yo, Brunson's amazing. Brunson's amazing. Shout out to
Mitchell. Mitchell this year's the same shit as Book and KD. He just fucking stands there.
Like, yo, but that's what I said. It's just like the Knicks because
I don't think it's
you watch the Knicks game and everybody just standing still the whole fucking time. Whether it's Brunson with the ball, whether it's Randall with the ball, like everybody's just fucking standing still. Only thing they do is you take the big man and set a high screen, whether it's at the key or the elbow. But the big man come out, set a screen, pull back, set a second screen, but they don't fucking move.
Your team is so miserable to watch.
It's uncreative. It's the most uncreative basketball I've ever watched in my life, bro. And it's a bunch of fucking ISO, screen, ISO, and
it's predicated on Josh
Jalen
Hart.
Brunson either drives.
10,
Jalen Brunson either does a driving kick. He has three moves. He has three fucking moves. He does a drive and kick. He does a drive and he does and either a float or a layup, or he drives and stops on the dime and does 27 pump fakes and then shoots.
The difference between the Knicks and these other teams, in my opinion, is y'all role players don't move. I see Brunson.
Nobody move.
Brunson moves.
Brunson moves.
Without the ball, no. Brunson stands on the perimeter the whole time. He just stands.
If you set it down screen, he'll flare to the corner.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no creativity. There's no, like, bro, call a fucking play and get these people moving around the court. Like,
but that's because these dudes stink. Like New York Knicks legend Josh Hart is afraid to dribble.
Josh Hart's a legend. He's
afraid to dribble.
All right.
Yeah, he don't. I respect it though.
Like no one can dribble besides Brunson. Yeah. So
how you gonna have Josh Hart was 1 assist away from a triple double. Respect him.
Looney had 7 assists one game.
Yo, listen, Looney's a dog too.
He's also afraid to dribble.
He's a New York Knicks legend, and he's been a Warrior his whole career.
It don't matter.
This remind me of that year that the Hawks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wait, no. The difference is that
that's not real.
The difference between those two things is that I know the Knicks don't belong. I know the Knicks have a chance to win this series, and they don't belong in the next round either.
I'll be honest, I don't think they have a chance to win this series after watching the first 2 games.
The first game they should have won by a blowout and ended up losing. And then the second game, they did not deserve to win. They did not deserve to win game 2. Like, you struggled all game with no Jimmy Butler, no Tyler Herro. That should have been a blowout. But if you watch the difference between game 1 and game 2, in game 1, people were actually fucking moving around the court because there was no Randall. Whenever Randall's on the court, everything just gets stagnant and predictable. Whether that I blame mostly coaching than I do him on that. But without Randall, everybody knows they got to step up, and the coach is actually calling plays. he's trying to get other people involved. He's trying to make shit happen and confuse the defense because he doesn't have someone like Randle to rely on. Game 2, they played like shit the whole game from beginning to end. They won because of fucking defense and rebounding and the Heat having those fucking injuries. But they fucking should have won game 1. They was up by like 10 or 12 at one point, and if it wasn't for stupid ass passes and boneheaded decisions, they should have been up by 20 in the first half. And they ended up blowing the lead in the second half and losing by 7. But you can't tell me that they don't have a chance of winning the series.
Well, I mean, I guess you always have a chance, but it's like I would put my money on the Heat after watching the first 2 games for sure.
I'm gonna be honest. One of y'all gonna have to text me when there's like 5 minutes left because I have no desire to watch the first 43 minutes of any game in this series. If it's close and there's 5 minutes left, I guess I'll tune in.
As a Knicks fan,
I'll turn off the Office reruns and tune in. I hate your games set basketball back.
Yo, what did I say in the chat the other day? We're fucking playing 90s basketball in 2023.
Bro, this is like the Pat Riley, Jeff Van Gundy.
But see, and this goes back to the beginning of the playoffs when I was upset and I was just like, yo, like, I want us to lose in the first round so the front office can realize that we need to make significant changes. And one of them is that coaching. Because what did we see 2 years ago when they made the playoffs on some bullshit? Front office starts believing in shit, gives Randle a contract extension.
But as they should. Like, Randle's good.
They should have traded him before the deadline. His value is never going to get to where it was.
I don't know. I just watched Sabonis for 7 games.
Look,
who's going to be an all-NBA player? There's nothing Sabonis does on the court better than Randle. Look, not a thing.
No, I agree. I agree. Now, but my thing is, I'm not saying Randle don't deserve to get 20-something mil a year, right? I'm not saying he's not good enough to deserve that. But what I'm saying is, it's 20-something, close to 30. But that's the shit too. It's like, oh, the Knicks, everybody was saying like, oh, the Knicks are getting a discount because if you waited till the contract was up, you would have had to pay him more. You weren't supposed to pay him in the first place. Let him get paid by somebody else. You could have traded that motherfucker when you traded the Morris twin. And you could have got way more for him.
He was expiring?
Yeah, he wasn't expiring. He had to opt
out.
He had to opt out on the last year.
Hey, then you weren't gonna get more.
No, it's team option. No.
Player.
Yeah, it was a team option. Because he originally signed with the Knicks 2 years with an option on the third. And then he signed an extension before it got to that point for like 4 years.
He only makes 25 M's this year. That's crazy.
And what does he finish at? Like 28, 29?
29. That's a really good deal.
Again, that's what the whole shit is painted as, is that they got a great deal as a discount. But if you trade him at the deadline prior to all that, that's when his value was at his fucking highest. You're never going to get back to that. And he handicaps you as a team with how far you can go.
Yo, Dion was right last year. The NBA's trash.
Yeah, no, it is.
I agree. We talking about a whack Knicks team in the second round against the Heat. The Heat just beat the fucking Bucks. And soon we're going to talk about another series that we probably would have got anyway. I'm like, yeah, we would have got this series anyway. But so
hold on. Just real quick, it was a player option on the original.
It was a player option on the original.
Okay. It was 3 years, 63. The last year was a player option. Like, he was gonna opt out. Like, y'all weren't gonna get shit for him at the deadline. Because the reason y'all got the deal for Morris is he had the extra year on it.
But nah, because listen, if you got what they got, like a first and a second for Morris or some shit like that. You could have got way more. But you would have still got way more for Randle. And any team traded for Randle most likely would have signed him to an extension anyway. That was the year that his first All-Star year where he was.
But he has to accept the extension.
Yeah, and who's to say he wasn't gonna?
Maybe he said he wasn't.
We talking way too many hypotheticals. My whole point was they should have got rid of him when his value was at his peak. and they should have never gave him that contract.
Yo, one second.
But X, you said that you said you don't want to see the Knicks play. Regardless of how you feel about their play, do you think they have a chance to win the series?
Yeah.
What is the key for them to win the series for you?
The Heat are not gonna score enough points to run you off the court, right? Unless Jimmy goes nuclear. But the fact is that because Bam is not him, it's like it's gonna take a fucking crazy performance for somebody for the Heat to reach certain scoring numbers, and because of that, you'll be able to fucking ISO and pound the ball with Randle and keep the game within reach, and then you just hope that fucking Brunson takes over in the fourth. So you'll have a shot as long as one of your role players hits it a decent clip from three. But yeah, you got a chance. It's the fucking Heat, bro. The Heat were a playing team. To say that that y'all don't have a chance to beat the Heat is madness. The Heat are here because the Bucks choked and Jimmy went for fucking 50 for fucking 3 straight games. But it's just a fucking rock fight.
As long as Harold is not playing, I think we in good shape. Mitch just got to stay out of foul trouble. He was in foul trouble early in game 2. Game 1, he played solid. He stood out of foul trouble. He played majority of the game. He actually played really good. But the Heat schemed well offensively to pull him out the paint. And with the Knicks injuries and lack of depth in the front court and lack of big bodies, like the Heat play a way where you gotta have somebody that can step out on the perimeter and guard a tall motherfucker like Kevin Love or even Bam, but you still need somebody down low that can protect the paint because they drive all fucking game. They gonna attack you all game. And Mitch wasn't able to stay on the court game 2. He's gonna have to be able to stay on the court. And people just gotta be afraid to fucking shoot, man. And I'm not even just talking about threes. Like, put the ball on the floor and attack the basket. Yeah, I shot way too many threes in game 1. Game 2, I'm
gonna be real. Just talking about the Knicks bores me to fucking tears, bro. I hate your fucking squad.
Yeah, bro. I hope you wake up tomorrow and all your inner tubes in your car got holes in them. All of them. And
the best thing about the fucking Knicks is the videos after the game where the Knicks be outside wild.
Yo, all right, bro. That's the best part about it. I'm getting tired of your shit, bro.
Aren't you, man?
Probably right, but
right,
so yo,
that's my shit. Because I'm a New Yorker, so
Celtics Sixers. Let's just move on to the last series because Warriors Lakers game 2 should start soon. I'm pretty sure we all want to be tapped into that and not talking to each other. Celtics Sixers. Embiid came back for game 2. They got their asses whooped. They won game 1 without him. Harden went off. Played like shit in game 2. Went like 2 for what? Like 13, 14, some shit like that. Jason Tatum went 1 for 7, and the fucking Celtics smacked them by like 40. Or at least it was up by 40 when I turned the shit off.
Yo, B gotta stop playing like a bitch.
Can we it's his first game back in like 2 weeks, playing with a knee brace on with a sprained knee, bro.
Bro, like he's falling down like fam. It's the same shit as Anthony Davis. It's like, yo, nobody hits the fucking floor more than these 2 motherfuckers, and they're the most brittle motherfuckers on the planet. Like, fam, every time you fall, you risk fucking potential injury. You too big for all that weight to be landing on the floor for you to be falling down just so carelessly. Like, fucking draw actual contact, finish through it, and fucking play big man ball. Like, they just play so bitch, bro. Like, there's one thing. If Josh throwing his body in the air, he's falling, all right, cool. But fam, stop, bro. Like, I don't enjoy watching the Sixers play basketball. Between him and Harden just fucking foul hunting, and don't get me wrong, Embiid is talented.
You just hate the Eastern Conference, huh?
It's just certain brands of basketball that I just hate. And it's like, fam, put your head down, get to the Embiid, you too big to be playing like such a bitch. Like, bro, you're bigger and stronger than everybody. Use that to your advantage. Could you imagine Shaq falling to the fucking floor when a guard bumps him? Bro, Shaq will
He did it. He did it. He used to do back. He used to fall and do a backflip.
Not like Embiid. Not like Embiid.
Bro, Shaq was the biggest flop known to man, and he admitted to it. He said he did it on purpose because they wasn't calling the real fouls.
But he did murdering Shaq. They was murdering Shaq down.
Yeah, so then when he started getting baby tapped, he would throw himself.
Bro, if they found
how many times you saw Shaq
backflip
into a cameraman?
If they found Embiid the way they used to foul Shaq, he'd press charges. Fucking come on, man. Like get that soft shit out of here, bro.
What was all this about?
Oh, I was scrolling Twitter. The betting favorite to get Dillon Brooks is Miami Heat. I just thought that was interesting. Like I think that
made sense.
From what I was saying, that is the perfect fit. That's all I was saying. Like, you know what I mean?
He could replace Caleb Martin.
Yeah, well, he's gonna. I bet you what happens is a Duncan Robinson sign and trade.
I think honestly, my prediction
Brooks and send Duncan Robinson over there
because Duncan's expiring next year, so the Grizzlies can then use Duncan to match the salary of the guy they want to bring in the offseason.
Nah, I just have a question.
Sign and trade for Tim Hardaway Jr.
When you
sign and trade to Dallas for Tim Hardaway Jr. It's gonna happen because God hates me. The basketball gods hate me. They said, "Oh, you hate Kyrie? Here's Kyrie. Oh, you hate Dillon Brooks? Here, have some Dillon Brooks." Dillon Brooks said,
"Oh, you love Luka? We're gonna give you nothing to go with it.
We're gonna give you Kyrie and Dillon. That's your back."
And then Luka plays the brand of basketball that you hate, where he just sits there and cries for 48 minutes. But Dion,
don't be disrespectful.
No, after you saw that headline, did you go and look at the Heat salary cap situation to see how it would work?
No, I know what the Grizzlies want to do. And the reason
it was just fascinating to me that you knew that much about Duncan Robinson's contract.
No, because that's the Heat's get ammo. The whole
is he expiring though?
He'll be expiring next year, yeah. Because he had 2 this year, which is why they didn't get Kyrie.
Gotcha.
That's why they are out on Kyrie. The MO for the Grizzlies is what can we get to make the big move? And it's like gonna be 1 + 1 + 2. Like,
and
they already are gonna negotiate the trade for Bridges or some shit, and then they bring in Duncan to match the salary. But
how much salary cap do they create by renouncing Dillon Brooks' bird rights?
None.
They have to.
They don't. But doesn't he have like a cap hold on them until they?
Yeah, but they're way over the cap because the Jaw's on the Supermax now.
Oh, okay. Because they were talking about how they're gonna be mad aggressive this offseason. So I was just trying to figure out if that was their pathway to it.
That's why I know he's getting dealt for an expiring.
Look, we know what the move is. It's gonna be whatever salary slot they bring in for Dillon, plus all the first round picks, and maybe Zaire for like OG and Anunoby.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Just fucking call it in. Let's just stop the smoke and mirrors. That's the move that needs to happen. And it's gonna happen.
Just back to the Celtics Sixers, so we stay on topic and get out of here. Both these teams stink. I like what the Sixers did though. I love what the Sixers did. They threw that game. They already won game 1. They said,
if you're gonna throw that game, was that why even play Embiid just to get him?
That's why they threw
it. Work before game 3.
Yeah, that's why they threw it. They're like, yo, Embiid's gonna play one of the next 2 games. Okay, he's not gonna be 100% either way. Do we want him coming back in a game 3 series? His first game is a potential 1-1. Maybe it's 2-0 if we're able to get it, or it's like, let's just toss this one. Let's just throw this one away. We'll lose it. If Embiid balls out, maybe we win still. Like, it's going to take a crazy performance for them to win in Boston anyway. I think I saw a stat that now the last 15 home teams that lost game 1 won game 2. And the Knicks are like one of those 15. The Warriors can make it 16 tonight. So it's like, you really probably weren't going to win that game anyway. You might as well see what Embiid has in the tank, because now for game 3, you're ready to go, versus the Celtics are still sitting there wondering like, what version of Embiid are we actually going to get?
I could see that. I didn't think about that, but given the fact that Doc just threw in the towel with like 10 minutes left in the game.
But they already saw it.
Yeah, but you know. Teams know the game over already and still wait till like midway through the 4th or something before they start just benching the whole squad.
He needed to get him rest. At that point, you got an old ass team besides Maxey. At that point, it was time to get rest. And it's like you saw what Embiid can do, which was limited, in my opinion.
He was great.
And that's
though. He was great on defense.
Yeah, he was all right. I thought he was all right on defense. They didn't force him to go side to side once, really. If you're just going to go north and south against Embiid, like, yeah, he's going to be great on defense regardless of the injury. But I thought he was limited in his movement, and that's a generous word to use. And I think they saw that. And it's like, what more do we need to see from him? What more do we need from Harden? We know it. Harris, Tucker, like these are guys that you know what they can do. Just pull them. Tatum played 19 minutes yesterday. I'm not making my guys play any extra minutes they need to play if this kid's only going to play 19. It's a long series. Like I've said it a million times on here. These 7-game series are a long series. Tatum had 7 points. He was 1 of 7. He played 19 minutes. They won by 40. Every game, one team gets an anomaly game. They get a superstar game. And then you have to find a way to win 2 other games, right? Tatum had his
superstar game already.
Sixers got their superstar game, and the Celtics blew theirs. Because in my opinion, that's about as good of a game as you're going to get out of Tatum. Maybe you get it again. Maybe you don't. Who knows? But they just won their anomaly game. I think game 3, you're going to see fucking D'Anthony Melton go for 30. Maxey goes for 30. Not that he's like an anomaly, but like that's not Harden or Embiid. Harris might go for 30, and then the Sixers win that game with limited stuff from Embiid and Harden. And then it's like, all right, game 4, that's when you need those dudes.
That's when Jaylen Brown go off.
Probably.
Yo, it's amazing. It's amazing, bro. He's been in the league for like 6-7 years and still like you've been playing basketball your whole life and can't dribble. Like you're a wing, you're a star wing player that's not known as a shooter and can't dribble.
Yeah,
if it was Clay, cool. Like you're a 3-point legend. But Jaylen Brown is a slasher who can shoot.
It doesn't bother me that he can't. I mean, it does bother me that he can't dribble, but it's as much so based off the way he played. Like we talked about earlier, stagnant offenses. It's like Clay can't dribble, but he never stops moving. Jaylen Brown stops moving. So you can't really shoot like that. Like, I mean, he's a good shooter for an all-star, but you can live with Jaylen Brown shooting from 3, right? Like that's a win for a defense.
Yeah, and that was that, but that's my point. It's like you're a slasher, you're a driver. Like you shoot a lot of mid-range shots, but you're not known as a shooter. And that's why I brought up Clay in particular, because it's like Clay is a shooter.
Yeah.
So if you tell me Clay can't dribble, he don't need to.
You don't need to.
Jaylen Brown needs to learn how to fucking dribble. You drive way too much to be fucking dribbling with the ball all the way across the court.
Or learn how to cut. I mean, I know he does do a few back cuts here and there, but it's like he spends too much time standing in one spot for someone.
Is that on him or coaching though? Because it's not like they don't run plays. It's just the plays they call don't necessarily involve him slashing to the rim without the ball.
I think to run a motion offense, it doesn't take coaching, it takes personality. I think any coach could run a motion offense. I think what Steve Kerr does, like how much of what the Warriors do you think is Kerr and not just them ad-libbing, right? I'd say probably 90% of it's a fucking ad-lib. Out of timeouts is probably Kerr. And he's a phenomenal out of timeout play caller. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think he would even be like, yo, our offense is pretty random. Bring it up the court. I'm gonna tell you where the ball goes. From there, just run around.
And I know that there's a lot of teams that are like that. Yeah. But that's why I say it's partially on coaching. The teams that do that know that they have the personnel that they can do that with. If Kerr wasn't coaching Curry, if he was coaching somebody else that wasn't as talented, he'd probably be calling more plays. If he didn't have someone with the IQ of Draymond on the court, he'd probably be calling a lot more plays.
Bro, you see the difference in the offense when Draymond is out there, just the chemistry. He don't even, it's nothing that Kerr draws up. He might just dictate, all right, this is going to be the primary action. Yeah, everything off that is read and react.
So, and that's why I say it had like part of that is on the coaching. Like, how long has this Celtics core been together? This is the third coach with the same fucking core, bro. You telling me? And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Mazzulla on Steven's staff too, or did Ime bring him in?
No, Mazzulla was on Ime's staff.
He wasn't on the staff with Stevens?
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know that.
I could be wrong, but I believe he was on his staff. Either way, you was here the last 2 years. You're the third fucking head coach with this core in the last 3 fucking years. This core's been around longer than that. You telling me that y'all haven't figured out that some of these dudes just can't play a certain way or need to be coached into playing a certain way?
It's not about coach, but it's you can't coach any of them to be playmakers
because you draw
not.
up a play and you hold people accountable.
But somebody has to dribble the basketball.
No, it's not now. I'm not even talking about the dribbling. We talking about him slashing and calling plays to make him drive instead of chilling on the perimeter, waiting for a pass. So that's what training camp is for. That's
personality, bro.
Nah, it's part personality, but it's also part coaching because you can draw up a fucking play.
It's all personality because I watched KD play for the Warriors for 3 years. And it's like, yeah, did he move more on the Warriors? Absolutely. How could you not? And the gravity and the spacing, it's like when you see open space, you attack it. But
now that was the identity of the team, and he was trying his best to.
But he also did a whole lot of standing.
Look, he did a whole lot of standing. But he's right. Dion is right. It is, for example, let's say the coach draws up a high screen and roll with Tatum and Horford, right? And let's say Horford runs a screen, Tatum was off the screen, and Horford pops to the three-point line. That shot is going to be open for Horford more often than not. Does he have the mentality to hoist up 10 threes in a game? Because he could get 10 threes in a game. Will he hoist them? Chances are he's probably not. Instead, he might take 3 to 4. The other 6 times, he'll hold the ball above his head and look to make a pass. And so the advantage that was just created by coaching was nullified by the fact that he does not want to take 10 threes. That's what Dion is talking about.
No, and I understand what you're saying. Now, to your point, same play, swap out Tatum and Brown. My whole point is call a play like that and force Brown to drive and cut towards the rim without the ball. Whether you pass it to him or not, you're creating another action in your offense and putting him in a different position to put the ball in the hoop that is more efficient and more reliable than him putting the ball on the floor and trying to dribble from the three-point line to the basket when he don't know how to fucking dribble.
But we say that with everybody. We say the same thing about the Clippers, right? Where it's like, oh, the Clippers need a point guard because like Kawhi and PG need easy touches. Kawhi does. Where PG makes his money is with the ball in his hand. PG ain't necessarily going to get better by getting a post-up look. Kawhi might. Absolutely. But PG's not necessarily going to. I look at the Mavs and everyone's like, yo, Luka needs a second star that isn't Kyrie. I think Kyrie's the perfect second star because Luka always wants the ball in his hands. And Kyrie, if he gets the ball swung to him with 5 seconds left, he can get his own look whenever he wants. Kyrie might need the ball in his hands to score. He's not going to cut on you. He's not really going to hit open shots, but he doesn't need it for as like extended period of time, right? Like we saw that with Harden and KD in Brooklyn. Kyrie's going to get 30 with 5 seconds. That's all he needs, right? And it was the same thing with Harden and Houston.
And also to that point, real quick, my bad before you keep going, but just with the Kyrie shit, Kyrie made it clear in Brooklyn that he's okay with playing off ball and being the shooting guard instead of being the primary ball handler for 20 seconds.
Right. Because he knows he can get his bucket whenever he wants. Does that mean it's the perfect fit and they're going to win? No, I'm just saying like, if you put Jokic next to Luka, I really don't think that's a fit because they both need the ball. Harden, it's the same thing, right? It's like Harden, we wanted Harden to have a second star over and over and over and over and over again. But like, I mean, we've seen over and over and over again. Like, it doesn't necessarily make the team better because Harden doesn't know what to do when he doesn't have the ball, right? That is what matters. That isn't coaching. That's personality. Like, the coach could tell Harden, hey, when you don't have the ball, I need you here, here, and here. Cut here. Is Harden going to cut? Fuck no. That's personality. It just is what it is. And you could see the way Philly plays with Embiid on the court is so much different than when Embiid's off the court. And that's because Harden's engaged, right? He's not sharing the ball with Embiid and Maxey. It's like, yo, Maxey, your turn. Cool. You did nothing, my turn. That's Harden's personality. KD's personality is the same way, but it doesn't work. What the reason KD won championships is because he came to Golden State and they made him play differently, right? And he still couldn't do it. That's the thing.
He did it though. He did it though.
He couldn't.
To a very small degree.
Small.
What did he average? Like 27 a game?
Well, it doesn't matter. What you average doesn't matter. It's how
Won
you're
championships?
doing it. It doesn't matter.
But
it's how you're doing
are you getting your points in the flow of the offense, or was it just individual?
They still had to let him. They had to. They really let him ISO a lot.
He did a ton of ISO.
Why do you think?
You're right.
Beefed? Listen, why do you think Chris Paul and Harden beefed? Because Chris Paul's whole thing was like, look, when I have the ball and I create these actions with these other three players, if you're standing in the same spot, any advantage that I create is nullified because your man doesn't have to move. You're not creating space. That's the difference. So you need people that, and what these coaches do is they're like, okay, what's going to be my fastball? I'm going to put the ball in the hands of my best player. If your best player is a playmaker like Luka, then yes, he can be ball dominant, but also have 12 assists because he can do both. If your best player thrives in ISO scoring situations like a Devin Booker, like a Kevin Durant, your best guy will probably get 30, 35. But are the other players in rhythm? Are they generating open looks for the other role players so where they can catch a rhythm and just shoot a shot? Or when the role players get the ball, there's somebody closing out, and now they're having to attack a closeout or move the ball quickly. And if they're not good enough passes, and if they're not good against closeouts, there's no advantage created. And then it goes back to your best player. Okay, there's 7 seconds on the clock, bail us out. Take a contested shot and hit it over the other team's best defender. And if you hit it, great, we can compete. If you don't, then we're fucked. That's the problem. You know.
Think about the 2012 Miami Heat.
Yeah,
right, that was the first year.
We're doing a whole lot of
real quick though,
timeline and time travel.
Well, real quick, because it's about to come back to Bron though. It's gonna come back to Bron. It's the perfect segue into the game. The 2011 Miami Heat, the reason they failed was Bron couldn't play off the ball, Wade couldn't play off the ball, right? They didn't know what to do. 2012 worked because they put the ball in Bron's hand and Wade learned how to play off the ball. 2013 works because Bron develops a post game. Why does this Lakers team work? Guess who doesn't have the ball anymore? LeBron. If he doesn't go through that in Miami and learn how to play differently and adapt his personality, this team never works. These other dudes never adapted the way Bron does, and that's what separates an all-time great from a guy who's really good in his era.
Bosh. And it worked because Bosh
too. Yeah. My bad.
He took 2 steps back, and now he's hitting corner threes instead of 18-footers on the baseline. That little bit, that space and a half of feet, gave Bron the ability to operate in the post. So that's what I'm saying. With the Suns, if Booker can extend his range to where he's consistently taking wide open corner threes, again, it's just a little bit extra space, but that's all.
I mean, we got a whole conversation about that whole Heat team and why it didn't work the first year. But back to the Celtics Sixers before we end this. I think the Celtics still win this. If Embiid's not 100% or close to it, I think the Celtics still win this, maybe in 6 games. Now, if Embiid can play and be impactful on both ends of the court, Sixers got a chance in winning this. But Embiid's injury, and Dion brought up a good point with his lack of, like, his limited movement, like, everything hinges on his health. It always has with Philly. If he can stay healthy, I think they beat the Celtics team. I thought Philly was gonna run through the East once I saw the Bucks fall, but Embiid's injury hurts them. I think the Celtics win this series in 6. Who you got, Dion?
I'd have to see game 3. At the moment, I got Philly, but I think Embiid will be all right. At the moment. I mean, I'd have to see it one more time.
How about you, X?
Philly in 5, by the way. I think if Philly
healthy Embiid, I'd say Philly in 5.
I don't even think he needs to be healthy. Like, I think thought he was limited in movement, but I think he showed enough to where they can work around that. Like, now they can work within what he can do. and I think they take the next two and Celtics quit.
I don't know. Like his defense was there, but his offense was iffy. Like I forgot who it was. I think it was Tobias tried to throw him an alley at one point, and he didn't go for the dunk. He went for the layup off of it, and he missed it. And that's something that even if he doesn't dunk it in that situation, which he normally would, he doesn't miss that though.
But what I'm saying is next game they don't throw him the alley now.
I don't trust Harden, so I'm gonna take
That's
the
the
Celtics
thing,
in
is like
7. Celtics in 6 or 7.
and
I just don't trust Harden.
I don't really trust Harden like to his legs to hold up for another 7, like an actual 7-game series, or even like we talking about Harden in the second round. This is the furthest he's been in years, and he's had leg problems for the last few years. He even said earlier in the season he's been playing on like a bum ankle for most of the season. He looked like he was a little banged up in the last game. He had no lift under him in game 2. Now, I know you believe that they threw the game, Dion, but you can't tell me that you believe Harden purposely was playing like that.
When I say they blew the game, it has nothing to do with like performance. It's just
no, I know. That's why I said what I said.
I'm just saying they felt like they were gonna lose the first Embiid game, and they said we'd rather lose this one than in Philly.
No,
that's all I
know. But that's why I said what I said. You can't tell me that you trust Harden after seeing that game 2 performance. Like it looks like that game 1 performance took a lot out of him.
I just think,
and
I think
without Embiid, if Embiid can't be as effective as they need him to be, and as dominant as we know him to be, like if he can't be at that MVP level, I don't see how they win the series.
I think these old guys
can't
play 2 good games in a row. So like it is what it is.
What are you talking about, Horford?
Harden. I think he'll be fine next game.
Okay.
You're just not going to get 2 in a row from him anymore. You're not going to get 2 in a row from Brown anymore. It just is what it is.
And you think that Embiid to be healthy enough to carry the load with Harden playing that way every other game?
Yeah, I think
you said 6 and 5, which means that you got them winning the next 3.
Yeah, I think you get an anomaly game from all the role players. I think you'll get an Embiid game, and I think you'll get a Harden game.
You already got the Harden game.
Yeah, but you don't need like a crazy Harden game. You just need like if Harden can get you 20 to 30 with Embiid and Maxey and everybody, like I'm not saying like a 45 piece, but a decent Harden game.
I don't know. This shit could go either way because.
And I'm saying these Celtics will quit. Like if the next 2 go the way I think they will, the Celtics are going to quit in that game 5.
How about you, X? Who you going with for the series?
He said Celtics in 6 or 7.
Celtics.
Oh yeah,
I just don't trust Harden. I don't trust Harden. A little bit too much PJ Tucker for my liking, and it's like, oof. Maxey's gonna have to fucking PJ. Fall out. I like PJ, but it's just if Harden's not on, where does the secondary scoring come from?
Maxey.
That's what I'm saying. Maxey got
Tobias played well in game 1. He played okay in game 2.
I will say it's nasty the way people will be like, yo, PJ didn't shoot that game, but he impacted the game. Like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
His defense is not what it used to be.
If you refuse to shoot, I don't care what you do on that end. I say the same thing about Draymond. If you are not involved in our offense, you make us worse. You just do. You
got to at least be willing to take it and allow for
go over 8
offensive rebound. Yeah,
go
because
over
then 8. If Embiid battles for position down low, it's nullified. If he has to give up that position because you didn't shoot the fucking corner.
Yo, so you'd rather him go 0 for 8 than go 0 for 0.
Yes.
I am not mad that he didn't score. If you do not shoot, you did nothing. Period.
Because if you don't shoot,
I kind of respect it. Kind of like I get it.
You're not punishing them for doubling if you didn't shoot.
Nah, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you miss it.
Right, because the whole point of
because here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's not
passing the ball to you if you're just gonna keep passing it.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not you making it that makes them guard you. It's the fact
No,
that they have to
duh.
respect
I
that
mean,
you're at least gonna take.
obviously.
So taking enough to where they have to actually close out on you. That's all.
Yeah, just make them think you'll make it.
No. I get it. I was just bugging at first. I'm like, bro, I don't know if I'm okay with Draymond going 0 for 8 in the game, but no.
I'd kill for that.
It's like when niggas do hack and shack. It's like niggas do hack and shack until the center hits 2 free throws, and then all of a sudden they stop. Right?
I think we might have went the whole episode without saying nigga, and then bam.
My bad.
Of course.
My apologies.
Yeah, I kill for Draymond to go 0 for 8. That's my biggest thing with dude. It ain't that he don't score. It's that, bro, you see the basket, you run away.
Warriors tonight.
Brolic.
The game probably going. Well, obviously, by the time this episode comes out, game over. But who you got tonight?
I think the Warriors win this one.
You think they cover the spread?
6 is a lot.
I saw it. It was last I saw it. It was like 7.5.
Oh hell no! Give me the Lakers plus 7.5 then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, put your leg down with your thigh highs on. Show all that.
Yo, I did quads
today.
The
listeners a full frontal.
Bro, my quads are involuntarily pulsating right now, son. It's just muscle spasms.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole spread thing, but I do think the Warriors win though.
Okay, we can end it right there. This man about to start sending out.
Like we not on the gambling show. I don't know nothing about the point spread. Stop being a coward. Are you betting? I know you're not.
No, I'm saying I don't. That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. But like I thought, the Celtics at 8 yesterday was also a lot of points, and boy was that wrong.
That's exactly what I said, but the opposite. I felt like the Warriors are gonna cover the spread tonight. After the way that they pulled up in game 1, I thought my feeling is that the Warriors are gonna pull up tonight, do what they're supposed to do, and probably win by like around 10 points. But at the same time, yesterday I'm like, yo, the Sixers are gonna lose, but they're gonna cover 8 points, and they got violated.
Yeah, I mean the thing with a spread like that is it's like, is Jordan Poole going to hit a bunch of shots? Is Wiggins going to make his threes? Is JaMychal Green going to give you 10? Because it's like, you're not going to win by 10 points because Steph and like Bron and AD went back and forth, or like Steph and Clay went crazy. Like, you're going to need the others to pick it up, and who knows?
All right, so we could end that there. We're already midway through the first, and I ain't see a second of the game yet. So, yo, tune in next week and see what's going on with the NBA playoffs.